Hey shipmates, it's Master Chief Bryant. We're going to do a real quick tutorial on My Navy assignments. So I've already logged in to My Navy assignments. You can do so by going to https:// Navy assignments or mynavyassignment.navy.mil, and it will take you to the login screen. You'll need to use your CAT card to log in. Then you'll need to go to job search. And then if you belong to any of the communities listed above the search function, you should read that area. Right here on required input, you'll see that I currently have selected STS. But you should choose your community or the rates that apply to you. And you can select multiple rates by clicking, press the control key on your keyboard, and then continue to click different rates while holding down the control button. And that will allow you to select multiple rates. Now you can choose to click specific communities only, or the one that says include authorized substitutions. So each billet that you'll see has a list of RFAS substitutions, which are just codes for different rates and other subspecialties. You'll need to choose your pay grades, and it's best to choose your pay grade plus one above and one below, except for first classes. If you're a first class, you'll need to choose E6 and E5. You can try looking at the E7 billets, but the likelihood of getting one of those billets is going to be kind of rare. So I'll just choose E1 through E6, and for the rates I'm going to go choose AB, and I'm going to scroll all the way down here to YN. I'm going to click and hold down the shift button and click YN and then release. That will choose all the rates from AB to YN, and then we'll go from pay grades E1 through E6. Now there are some additional optional input areas, okay, that you can select. However, for right now, let's not use those. You can explore those on your own and click search. And it does take a few minutes to load. That's a lot of rates and a lot of pay grades. Now, if you like the search that you just completed, you can come down here and click Save Search, and it allows you to save the search. So you can name it whatever you want to name it, and then you can save that search. That's really handy when you start playing around and looking into the NOSC, the states, maybe different supported commands and UICs and things like that. It makes things easier when you come back. So here's what we've got. We've got a spreadsheet. Now you'll see that all of these apply buttons are ghosted. It says feature not available in current phase. So right now I think they're in the scrub phase. They'll have the rest of June to scrub out all of the billets that all the jobs that have been selected and will no longer show up here. So the new schedule, I think, is around the first part of July. My Navy assignments will open up for selection phase, and then you can come back and do the same process and actually apply for billets if you're within your projected rotation date window. But let's just look at these for just a second. So you'll see the apply button, okay, right here under apps. This will tell you how many other people have applied for this particular application or job. You'll see the rate that the billet is for. So the PNEC is the primary NEC, and it will tell you the NEC that is hard coded into the actual billet file. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have that billet, but it is preferred. If you have the billet, or correction, if you have the NEC, if you're in the same correct pay grade, then the fit fill, and we can talk about that later, but fit fill will be better. So from a big Navy standpoint, when the TICOMs, the top commanders, start looking at fit fill and who is, you know, which specialty and skill level is filling the billets, they'll know that yes, this individual is the correct pay grade, the correct rate, and has the correct NEC. Some will list a secondary NEC. The BIN is the billet identification number. Okay, so on the SMD, or the shore manning document or activity manning document, the AMD, you may hear those acronyms sent out. The BIN is listed on the AMD or the SMD, and it's just a file number. The billet title, and you can click on that to come in and see the actual billet. So this will tell you the AUIC, so the activity unit identification code. So that is the actual active duty command that this particular billet supports. The RBSC is the reserve billet sequence code. It's similar to the BIN, only on the reserve side. The rating, the unit name, whether it's a hot job or not, the NOSC that it's associated with, the pay grade, of course, billet title. And then there's some other information about this particular billet. Now, you'll see unit NOSC address. Okay, it's not letting me highlight, but so this particular unit drills at NAS Jax in Jacksonville, Florida. The supported command is Commander 5th Fleet. Okay, and they're in Bahrain. And then it gives you the UMUIC, the unit mobilization UIC. So if you were, just to kind of break this down just a little bit, this particular active duty command pays for this billet, for this reserve billet. Okay, so when you are deployed, if you mobilize, you're mobilized theoretically to the 5th Fleet, to Bahrain. So again, here your primary NEC. Here's the actual RFAS code, and you can find a list of those codes in reserve documentation. But this also will tell you the RFAS assignment codes right here. So NAVPERS 1070/613. And a NAVPERS 18068 Foxtrot. You can look up all the RFAS codes. I think the NAVPERS 1070 is actually the the NEOX manual or the Navy Enlisted Occupation Code manual. This also tells you the billet history, and of course cannot apply for jobs in this selection mode. So even if I wanted to, I couldn't apply for this. I'm going to hit the backspace key. I'm going to come back here, and again, all the information that we looked at is also on this page. Now, under the UMUX section here, you'll notice that there's a hyperlink. You can click on that, and it will tell you about that particular command. So if the unit has access, like Activity Manning Manager access or TICOM access, they can log in to their site, and they can come in here and they can update the information, the contact information. So if you're interested in a particular billet, you can reach out to the command career counselor, anyone in this command who has an email address, and ask them, specifics about the command. That may be, how many times a year do you require cross-assigned members to come and drill, on site with you? And they may say, we require it every drill weekend. So maybe you can do that, maybe you can't, but you'll be more informed. You can click on the AUID and it tells you more about that particular command. You can see it's 5th Fleet. You can reach out to these folks. I recommend, reaching out to a chief. I wouldn't go straight to the command master chief, but if you can't get any, if you don't get any information, then that may be beneficial. And you can see that these are all primary jobs. Okay, now I'm going to go back up, and I'm going to just do a selection. So I'm a member of the SFRC, or the Submarine Force Reserve component. I'm going to click, I've previously saved that search. I'm going to go search. And it's going to restore that search and also go ahead and do the search. And what you'll see is you'll see a list of the jobs within the community specific to the particular rates that I've chosen for the Submarine Force Reserve component. And I'll show you here. So what I did is I selected, for this particular search, I selected all rates, just like I showed you before. And since I'm part of the submarine community, I selected submarine forces, so that narrows down the jobs. I also selected, hot jobs and open recs. Okay, so that's what this particular search below is going to show us. And we can see that all of these are, if you look under the unit name, NR Subpac UWO Portland, or NR Undersea Warfare Development Center Detachment, and that was in Groton. Of course, that one's in Portland. But all of these are submarine force related, and you can see all the different rates over here and the different jobs. Even the hull techs, even the engineer rates are heavily used in the submarine force with expeditionary maintenance. Let's go to the guys and gals, these sailors. They go to the MRES land and the freight cable out in Guam. But what I really wanted to show you is, you see there's a break here. There's an RFAS substitution. Okay, so that's just RFAS substitutions of the other jobs above. So that means you may not be an ITS, but you may be able to fill this position. So let's look at this one real quick. Okay, perfect example of RFAS assignment codes. So down at the bottom, you'll see that first off, this is for an ITS rating. So an information technology submarines. So the S is a specific submarine rating. But the RFAS code on this job allows for ET, so a conventional ET, ETR, ETV, FC, FT, STG, and STS. So, any of these particular rates can apply for this particular job, and it will allow the fit fill of this job to be good. Now, when the selection phase is over, the scrub phase is over, and we get into the actual phase where you can apply, and it's not going to let me show you anything with apply that has to do with apply right now. But basically, you'll go to the billet that you're interested in. There will be the ability to add a priority number, so you can apply for up to 7 billets, and you have to give each billet that you apply for a preference or a priority code 1 through 7. And you can't duplicate. It will allow you, or it doesn't tell you which number you're on, so you have to know which billet you want to be your number 1. And there's no gaming of this, so don't put number 7 because you think they're going to give you the very last thing that you applied for. Nope. If you want to go to a certain particular billet, then make that your primary billet. Make that your number 1 billet, your number 1 choice. Don't try to game the system because it just doesn't work like that. If you have any, when you're applying, it will also give you the ability to send information to, the detailer. And I recommend that if you want to stay in Chattanooga and be cross-assigned to that particular billet, that you tell them when you're communicating with the detailer inside of the application, or whatever NOSC you happen to be associated with or drill at, because otherwise they may move your TRUIC and move your drill site to the NOSC that supports that particular unit. And we don't always want that to happen. Now, I will say, if you're an IS or an IT, a CT, or some kind of some particular rate where you are managed by a community, like the information warfare community, those particular rates, you really need to look at a NOSC and maybe changing the NOSC and going to Atlanta or some other NOSC where you can go to on a drill weekend basis and actually do your job. Chattanooga does not offer a lot of opportunity for folks to do their job when it comes to the information warfare area. I'm going to go back here and just show this one more time. All these billets, there's a lot. You can look, you can narrow down the unit location, the supported command, and if you'll notice that some billets may support different, they may be at the same location but support different commands. Okay, so be sure you look at that, and this should help you become a little bit better informed as to what you're applying for. Now, if you're considered IAP in assigned processing, that means you do not have a billet, and the NOSC manpower and manning folks, they have the ability to direct assign you or apply for you. So if you want them to do that, that's fine. Communicate that to the NOSC. But my recommendation is that you get in here even now while we're not in the phase to do this, and look and see what kind of billets there are out there available. Now, all these billets may not be here in a month, but there will be similar billets for your particular rate. So it's always good to get around into My Navy assignments and take a look. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'd much rather you ask than not. So just give me a shout. stscmbryant@gmail.com.